Oh my, sorry.
Camera.
Right.
That's better.
Thank you so much.
You are in a pink today. Now that looks smart. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Swati. I'm the Chief Mentoring Officer of MentorMyBoard. And we are really happy to have you with us today.
Okay.
All thanks to Bharati. I mean, she always has these,
Yeah, it's my utter pleasure actually because uh, Dr. Singh has been so highly spoken of by a common friend of ours.
Okay.
So, and it's very appropriate actually. I was thinking that's why Dr. Singh, I was pursuing it so vigorously because today is Gandhi Jayanti and also Lal Bahadur Shastri's 116th birth anniversary. So I felt like, because Gandhi was so passionate about agriculture, I felt, you have done so much in the field of horticulture. So I felt it would be very appropriate if you come and speak to us and then, of course, talk on corporate governance and all the other stuff.
It's going to be an amazing session because this is a very unique field that sir is associated with,
Correct.
And it is going to be one wonderful learning experience for all of us.
Sure, definitely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. For us, it's real learning experience.
Yes.
Am I visible now?
Yes, very much.
You are, sir. You are.
Okay. So I also welcome both of you.
Thank you.
And it is also a pleasure to have interactions with you.
Right.
And I'm very happy that you are mentoring the upcoming directors,
Right.
both in the corporate and even the startups. So that is a kind of, even our Honorable Prime Minister says, we have to give the skill. See, knowledge, people may have the knowledge, but the skill becomes very, very important.
Absolutely.
So till you don't have the skill, knowledge has no use.
No use.
You may have the sense, but you must have the skill to sense it. If you have the sense only and if you don't have a skill to sense it and use it, that has no value. So what you are doing, that is good job because there are a large number of upcoming startups are there across the country.
Yes.
Correct.
There are young as well as old people, and you are trying to bring large number of people on your forum, and which will be definitely a guiding force for all of them, all the upcoming people who want to become the entrepreneurs of tomorrow. And with
Dr.
this,
Singh, sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Singh, because when they are going live, we would really appreciate if you mention this again. It is so kind of you and very perspicacious because very few of the guest directors have done some background and check and everything. And you and another director earlier has also mentioned that MentorMyBoard seems to be the only Indian organization which is doing this. So very perspicacious of you, sir. I appreciate it. And we would really appreciate if you can also mention it when we go live. Very nice of you. Please go ahead.
okay, thank you.
Now it's streaming live.
It is Bharti ma'am. Good evening, everyone. We welcome Dr. H.P. Singh sir and a real a technical error due to which we could not, start on time. So I'm really sorry for the same.
No problem. It always happens.
So I'm Neha Shah. I'm director at MentorMyBoard, sir. Hello, and we welcome
Hello.
you. Let me, briefly introduce MentorMyBoard to you and the audience that would be joining us live. So, Boardroom is a place wherein the fortunes of great companies are written. And hence, in this pursuit of bringing the best practices of boardrooms, followed by the directors, the CEOs, the CFOs, we have come out with this interview series with eminent, board leaders like you. And also we have been, who have been giving who have been acting as, torch bearers for the others who are into the same roles. Where corporate directors come together and learn and sharpen their boardroom skills. So we welcome you to MentorMyBoard's Boardroom Talk series, and Dr. Swati Padoshi, who is our CMO, and Bharti Iyer will take it forward from here.
Thank you so much, Neha.
Thank you, Neha. That was so well presented and with a smile. I think, Singh sir, you will be noticing that it's all women brigade when it comes to Mentor My Board.
That is very good, you know.
Yeah, so I think innovation and creation is at its best.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely proud to share that Divya Momaya, who's the brain behind it, has brought us all together to create this. She's not here with us today in physical sense, but in spirit, in mind, she's very much with us throughout the evening. A visionary leader. She's an amazing person, sir. You should sit down with her for a cup of coffee, because the kind of ideas she comes out with, she stuns people, you know. We are astounded. We are astounded with her astucity when it comes to boardrooms and director. So we are missing you, Divya, but we know you're present wherever you are. You're with us. Our moderator for today, Bharati, is another very strong pillar of Mentor My Board.
Thank you.
We actually look up to her because she always, you know, brings that finesse to whatever process that we talk of. She has more than 30 years of experience, a company secretary and chief compliance officer, governance, regulatory, risk and legal affairs expert, internal audit and Q&A expert, and over and above that, Singh sir, what goes beyond all these qualifications is an amazing human being, you know, modest, grounded, and like I said, pillar of Mentor My Board, Bharati. So happy you're moderating this session. So me and Neha would take your leave to introduce sir and take this conversation forward.
Absolutely. And please do join in further when we have to ask questions.
I am around. I am around.
So, Dr. H.B. Singh, once again, welcome on behalf of Mentor My Board to this wonderful series of boardroom talks. I would like to have the privilege of introducing Dr. H.P. Singh, who is having an illustrious career of almost 5 decades. And in this long career, he's having a number of outstanding achievements, some of which he's very kindly agreed to share with us. He has contributed as a researcher, an academician, a research manager, a president and chairman of various associations and administrator. He is also serving as an independent director on the board of various companies, including Jain Irrigation Systems. He has provided leadership in agriculture, especially in horticulture, occupying various positions as DDG, ICAR, Horticulture Commissioner, the Ministry of Agriculture, a Dean of the GBPU A&T, and Vice Chancellor of RAU, Pusa University, Samastipur in Bihar. So he has brought a number of initiatives which he has very kindly shared with us. But what I would like to highlight are his skills in policy planning, program development and execution, which are par excellence, evaluation, monitoring, analysis of production policy and planning. And also besides that, right now he's currently serving as, he's providing leadership as chairperson of the Confederation of Horticulture Associations of India and independent director on many agro companies, besides mentoring many startups in agribusiness. He's striving to achieve technology-led development of agriculture, particularly in horticulture. We are very proud to have you today, sir, because as we just now spoke a little while ago, it is appropriately Gandhi Jayanti, Lal Bahadur Shastri's birthday. And as you know, Mahatma Gandhi was very passionate about agriculture. And just one quick word about your thoughts on the appropriateness and the relevance of Gandhian's principles on agriculture with regard to horticulture. And then we would like to invite you to take you through the board journey, corporate governance, and various other subjects which I have shared with you. Over to you, Dr. Singh. Once again, welcome very, very much today.
Thank you, Ms. Bharti, for excellent introduction given for me. Thank you very much for that. I also thank you and all the involved persons in the mentor of the board who are doing the excellent job. I was told that all it is being managed by the woman. In matter of fact, in our culture, the women are the creators. Women are the creator. This world cannot come without the woman.
Agreed.
Whenever the stress has been there, woman has been worshipped, and that's why in India, Devis, in the form of Devis, in the Kalis and Durga, they are always worshipped. Even in current days, if you see, the woman empowerment has been talked about, but in India, the woman has to play a very significant role. Of course, earlier it was empowerment, and now we are talking the woman-led development.
Correct.
This you cannot have, and that is what you will be talking further, and that is the reason that it has been made essential that in all the boards, the women should be there because they have to play a very significant role. Women are not only they represent the 50% of the population, but they influence more than 50% of population through their creativity and so on. So first, I thank you and wish you all the best. What I also said that, you may have the knowledge, you may have the sense, all the five senses must be working. But if you don't have the skill, those sense and your knowledge has very little values. That's why even Honorable Prime Minister has been emphasizing upon time and again that you must go for a skill development among the youths so that they can be better employed. And you people are what the job you are doing, the mentoring the director, providing the skill to upcoming directors, maybe the small scale where there may be individual as only one as a director, there could be a big corporate where there could be 10 as a director. And if you look to this, then after coming off the Company Act 13, the things are more clearer and we are going toward the better path where it has been implemented too. So as far as myself is concerned, as you have rightly said, that I have the basic qualification in agriculture, but I have been also working with the corporate sector at various levels. Of course, in the government system, I worked for almost 42 years in the different capacity, what already you have told. Various programs and initiatives I have taken. I have been at international level and I have the various initiatives. And if any one of you have heard about in horticulture, technology mission in horticulture was created by me and brought by me and implemented by me, which has completely changed. If you just see from the 98, I brought it and see that today the scenario of horticulture, it has completely changed. For the first time, then the Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee talked about the doubling of horticulture production in 2003. And today you can see that even our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji also talks again and again about the horticulture. Then I had also a lot of work done on the micro irrigation, which is that economic use of water. And there I have been, that's why I have been also with the associated Jain irrigation system who are pointed in the micro irrigation. Then I have been a starter for this greenhouse technology in the country. I started in 98, where in the greenhouse floriculture and vegetable. And today you can see that many of the startups are coming for the greenhouse production system because even in the 1 acre of land, the people can have the livelihood, a better livelihood if they have the greenhouse system. So these are some of the initiatives I have been taking wherever I have been there. As a researcher, I have brought many of the varieties which has been used by the farmers. I have written many of the books. I have guided many of the students. I have written more than 65 books. Then I have published more than 200, 300 papers and so on. So that way in the academics, even recently, few days back, because, education, the education policy brought by the government of India, that is called NEP, National Education Policy, which is general, but we wanted to see how we can take the benefit of that policy in agriculture. So a few days back, we had also an international conference organized for NEP in agriculture, how we can use. Because the most important part in this NEP is transferability. Most important, if you have studied, this is transferability. It means today, if you are doing something, today you are graduating, so after 2 years, you can get diploma. After 3 years, you can get graduation. And after 4 years, you can get some specialized degree. And you can also transfer. If suppose you are doing the physics, tomorrow you want to do in the chemistry, you can go. So many good things are there that also discussed. So this has been the briefly I have told you. If you want a specific city in this technical matter, either academic matter, I can tell. Otherwise, you can come to the point of your board, which you have a plan for today. So you can discuss about that.
Very nice of you. Yes, Dr. Singh, we are very interested in getting your views. So I've just sent you a list of indicative questions. So I would like your thoughts on that. We will start first with your views on how did you start the journey as a director? Any special skill sets were there which triggered you to come onto the board? What are your thoughts about these two aspects? Like coming on the board, what are the skill sets required of a director to be selected to join the board?
Often you ask the question, who is the director?
Right.
Okay. So there could be many managers and there could be one director. He can be managing director, he can be director, and then he can be independent director, executive director. So who is the manager? Who manages the resources efficiently to get the maximum output, he is a manager. If you have enough of the resources and no efficiency is needed, and anybody can do that. But manager must have to see time management, he has to see finance management, resource management, human resource management, and gets the maximum output, because so he is a manager. And who directs all kinds of the manager? Because manager can be in the different places. He can be factory manager, he can be another manager, inputs, resource inputs getting manager. So all this, and so there is a director who manages all that. So everywhere you will find that there are directors. Even in institutions where I was the first director for the Banana Research Center, I was a director. So managing everything as a director, as a researcher, as a research manager. So there as a research manager and a director. Then as a deputy director general. So that is our general, means I was the director over the director. Then I was a commissioner. Now coming to the director's role of the directors in the company. Now in the company you have the director who are the executive directors who manage day-to-day work of the company. So their job is also to function in a manner that company gives you the maximum output. So the people, if it is a public, so that even the shareholders, they get benefit, or even if it is a private, they get benefit. Even as they own, they get benefit. So that is the role of director. But after coming off the Company Act 2013, their role has been enhanced much further. So again, the director, he has to manage, he has to provide a guidance to the company in a manner that they can utilize their resources more effectively and efficiently to get the maximum output in the terms of the profit. Output in the terms of the profit. So that is the major role of the director. Now your question has been how I have been interested to become in the board of director. In matter of fact, I started my own non-profiting company. That was the Confederation of Horticulture Association of India. So that was in the 2000, around 2010, I started. So then I knew that what is the director, because that is under Non-Profiting Company Act. So I had to first take my direct identification number. So I took that and I started managing that one. But that is more of academic company. Academic company in the terms of this provides the solutions and
not for profit.
Non-profiting. We bring out the books and journals and so on and so on.
Agreed.
Then, you know, the second it came that I have been working with large number of corporate sectors by providing technical guidance and so on and so without being the director. Then I was invited by some companies to hold the director positions because they were the agro companies. So then two of the companies I joined, one is the Jain Irrigation System, another is the, which is located again for the TCO Sray. They have that Vindhyachal Agro. So that is also especially based on agriculture. So those in both the company, first I joined in Jain's. They are already, I'm more than 5 years I have passed, and this is my second tenure over there. And then there I have passed almost 3.5 years in other company. And you see this, what is that, how they can play, that directors has to be honest. Any director, so he either executive director or independent director. Independent director role is much more greater than executive director to safeguard the interest of the company as well as stakeholders. That's why they are independent director, and that's why it is a regulation is there that in each company you must have 1/3 of director must be independent director. Independent director should not have the stake in the company. They should not be related to the promoters of the company. They should not be, so that independently and honestly they can see the all affairs.
And actually independent.
Yeah. So you see this independent, another role of independent director is as the executive director, suppose you have your own company. then you would like to run without looking to that you will get benefit or you will get some risk you are managing or not managing. So you will not know many a times. But independent director roles is, in another word, you can say, they are like a watchdogs. So I will not use the word watchdog, it doesn't look nice, but I can also say that they also function like a brake in the vehicle. Now, if you are driving, for example, if we go on completely putting your leg on the accelerator, and if you don't have the brake in the vehicle, what will happen? So that is the role of independent director for any company. So if they have not satisfied the risk management system when they are taking any project, independent director has to play the role to say that you also set up your risk management if you are taking any
controls.
If they are financial, there are any irregularities pointed out from time to time, it is independent director to take issues. Now, independent director.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Singh. May I say that my interpretation of this would be that not only are they the persons who are keeping the checks and balances going in a very, in an auditory manner, but other than that, even for course correction, because independent directors have an outside view looking into the company. So even if they want to put a break and course correct a little bit, the strategy of the company, independent director's view would be more than a person who is having an executive role in the company and who's deeply concerned with the inside workings of the company. So what is your opinion on that? That he is a...
No, what you are saying partially it is correct. What I would say that independent director has only one interest, to safeguard the interest of the stakeholders in the company. So when he is safeguarding the interest of the stakeholder in the company, he is also safeguarding the interest of the company as a whole, in total. So even the promoters gets, now there is a difference between a auditor auditing the financial management. So he is looking from only one perspective, that what that order was there and expenditure is in order or not. But that as independent director, it is a holistic approach. You have not to see, you have to see the technical point of view. Say, for example, once we had a discussion in one of the company. Now the company on the particular time, they could not make the profit. So there was loss. So as per the management skill, you will say you are lost. So you simple, what do people say? No, cut down your human resource to cut down on the cost. But always it is not a good solution. Because you see, that is many times in the books you will get that, but that is not good. Because if you cut on the human resources, you do not know how many years you have spent to create human resources. And if you cut them, again, if you expand further to get the human resources, so that many times that principle is not correct. Sometimes your sales and proceeds are also seasonal. So one quarter you may not get. For example, if there is a company which is selling the FMCs, now they will have the more sale when Deepavali and Dasara is coming. Before the rainy season is there will be less of the sale. So if this quarter has a poor profit and you cut down on the people, and then the next quarter you may require more, so that is not correct. So that these are some of the smaller things as independent director, and that advice you can only give if you have larger perspective and larger experience. So that way only you can help the company to make better profit.
Better profits. So that's very good. So you were selected and you're in the second tenure. So you are also saying that you have been in small startups. So from a directorial point of view, especially independent director, how far do you think that, because you'll be on different type of companies. Here you're on agro companies and a horticulture company or irrigation related company. Suppose you're in a different company in a different field. How far and how important it is for an independent director to develop the skills of a company where he goes 4 times in a year?
See, point is that what I have seen in many of the companies, the independent director, they only go 4 times and come back. That is not correct. So as independent director, you must also learn what is happening.
Right.
See, suppose I may not be an irrigation man, but if I join as a director, I must learn who are the people who are making some innovations, who are the people who are taking the sales. So when I know the people at that ground level, then some feedback I can get which I don't get in the boardroom, and based on their feedback, their feelings, I can bring some good advice in boardroom and then guide the company. But if I am not committed in the total overall, then I
Yeah.
may not. It will be just कागजी घोड़ा दौड़ाने वाली बात जो होती है ना कि बैठ
हाँ,
गए
सही बात।
account देख लिए, then no. What I am playing the role is different. I go to the company, I spend at least 10 to 15 days in the company. I talk with the people technically, wherever I am technically competent. Then I talk with the people, see that what are your targets, why you are faltering. Many times, some of their staff, they cannot talk directly with their management. See, suppose working somewhere, you will be hesitant to talk with your super boss. But if you have openly said there could be some issues, smaller issues, and if management takes care, you can be more efficient. So if I get that feedback, I can talk with the management and make my people, that people who are working on the ground level, to be more efficient and more effective, and that way things will happen. They will get motivated. So that is my approach. Either
So,
I am in the company or even I was in system.
right.
That was my approach, to see that our people are helped, because it is very easy. Suppose you have made the mistake while doing some work in the best interest of your company, and then somebody comes off, you have made mistake, he asks you get out, then you get dispirited. So see, anybody should analyze what were the circumstances under which you have faltered.
Yeah.
If it is not, you have not faltered for your interest, but for the company interest, the company should appreciate you rather than demote you. So that should be approach, and wherever I am trying to put the things in that perspective.
Very nice. Really well put. So you would say that orientation when a person is invited onto the board, because a number of directors and aspiring directors are listening to this on Facebook. So what we are trying to do is like part of your getting invited onto the board, a part of this would be the orientation program. So suppose you are invited as an independent director on a automotive parts manufacturing company, and you are actually in the financial services sector. How do you get involved with that? Because it is not very much encouraged by the executive directors that the independent director comes and gets oriented. So your thoughts on that, Dr. Singh?
No. I don't think that wherever the company I am there is no interference. If I am interested, and you see, rule provides all the independent director, they can go and visit anywhere.
Okay.
See, if you see the roles of the independent directors and duties of independent director, they can visit anywhere. They can check anywhere. But that should be the interest, should be not the personal. Suppose somebody is, suppose he is independent director, he can take my issues that are confidential and go on to the other company. That is very wrong, and that is also it is given responsibility. If that also happens as independent director you have done, and some of that information if is passed on to other company, tomorrow you can be in jail.
Very much.
So both the sides are there. You have the responsibilities, you have the duties, you have the responsibility, both. So that you can function. See, suppose I am giving my example.
Correct.
I had, of course, I have been the director, I have been seeing the finance, but coming to the company evaluation, many of the terminologies of the finance I was not knowing, EBITDA and so on. But now I know. I know all the financial issues I know. So that if I am sitting there, I must know that if the audit report is coming, it is correct or not, that I must know. I must know what is the balance sheet, where they are missing, how the asset and liabilities, how the changes have taken place. So that means if you are going for a job, before taking that job, you should try to understand. Today I am in technical company, and tomorrow if I pick up somewhere in financial company, maybe the bankers, maybe that I have to be equally, before I go to their meeting, I have to be better prepared. What you used to do earlier also. Suppose I am director, then I will try to, if I have joined as a director, within 1 week's time, I will acquire all the knowledge. I will give you a classical example of mine. Having served in the government of India for a long time, I went as a dean, which is the academic position. At the time, many people said, what he will come with it? He's an administrator, he is in the government of India commissioner, what he will do as a dean. But I preferred as a dean to go for some time.
Correct.
Then course curricula and so on. I spent 1 week to
Okay.
completely study the course curricula, the statute of the university and everything. And when I came out, even many of the 20 years teachers, they were just surprised that many of the things what I pointed out in first meeting, my academic meeting, they were just surprised.
Wow.
So it is very clear. If I am going to another business, I must try to understand that what business they are doing, what are the things there, what are the technical things, what are the financial things. Then only you are competent enough to be the independent director. If you don't have the commitment and honesty, you can't become.
Very nice. Really, you have answered my second question, because I was going to ask you, how important is it for directors to be financially literate, tech savvy, digitally savvy? So these are all the questions which I've got to answer you, and you have answered all those questions.
See, for example, I may be from first generation, but I am equally to the third generation. I have no problem.
Correct. Correct.
I myself do the mail. I take up all, even by the everything is sent by the electronics. I do everything electronically. Even myself is management of all my finances by electronically. I am at the age of 70, but
You don't
I
look
do
it. My compliments. You don't look it at all.
Compliments.
I'm just saying.
The energy is infectious. My compliments too.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So I'm sitting with all. I sit with the computer, I sit with the iPad, I have the all I. So I manage everything. I have both Meet, I have the Google, this Zoom. And so all I manage, I do also the conferencing through this system.
Correct.
So I would say that all the independent director, whoever is there, that's why the government of India, now we must have heard about. It is essential that any independent director of coming ones, they have to pass the test. The government, after making this, just like I have the DIN, you have the director identification number. So that will be given to the only person in future who has passed the test. And that's why Institute of the Director, I was telling you, where I am also the member, they are also organizing the training. Even you can organize the training. So now you have to talk with this government, that's a corporate affairs ministry, and they can provide you the funding also for that. So they are doing. And that KPMG, they have also the board director. And when Mr. Tiwari is there, he always keeps in touch with me. So they are always organizing in Bombay as well as in Gurgaon in Delhi. So 2-3 meetings they organize. And the board Institute of Directors also they organize mostly in Bombay as well as in Delhi. But earlier they were in physical, but now today everybody is turning to that electronic.
Correct. So we are also organizing, as you know, like MMB MentorMyBoard is a fledgling organization. But in the meanwhile, Divya has already managed to have all these sort of tie-ups with the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, and we are going ahead in this same way. You must be also, we have invited you to that Independent Directors Summit, Dr. Singh. So that's on 13th and 14th of October. So please do register and please do come. It's not a full day event. We have tried to make sure that, that everybody is not tied up.
That you have sent one card to me, is it so?
Yes, definitely.
That is
I have already sent it on email.
13th and 14th.
13th and 14th of October, in the afternoons it is. It's on Zoom. We were planning air meet, but now we are doing it on Zoom. And a lot of eminent people are expected at that. And please do participate whenever you get the time.
Send me the link. I will try to participate into that one.
Definitely. Yeah. Now coming back again to this wonderful discussion on corporate governance, because as you're seeing, the past few years, you mentioned also Companies Act 2013, which has become sometimes very difficult with regard to compliance professionals like I and Divya, because there are so many things which we have to look into. So from the point of view of an independent director, what would be your thoughts with regard to corporate governance, not just checklist as a compliance, but understanding what is going on in the mind of the government, what is in the mind of the stakeholders, and as an independent director, how would you, want to contribute at that particular point of time?
Your point is correct. The compliances are many, but while the many compliances come, you must have also see the background. everybody do not go in the system as the system should go. So checks and balances we have to keep, and that's why the more and more compliances are there. It may be little difficult for very small companies, but of course you have that. If you are a private company, you need not go for all the compliances. If you are a private company, you have exceeded 100 crores or so, then you have to think of. Or if you are a public company, shareholding company, then definitely that responsibility comes of the compliances. And that's why more job has been now created after this act for the company secretaries everywhere. After the coming of this act, there is a lot of job for the company secretary as well as the finance officers, because they're highly paid the officer. Both are the statutory position now in the company. The company secretary as well as your finance officer. Both are statutory position. So compliances are there. That has to be done. Now coming to this, there are system. Now you have the system. They have constituted the 4 committees. So they're very, very, very good. See, one committee, nomination committee. It means everything has to pass through what is remuneration to be given. So the committee can look into, and the very important thing in all the committees they have made compulsory, it will be chaired only by independent directors, not by executive directors. And in audit committee, at least you must have, if you are 3 people, 2 independent directors should be there. One could be chairperson, 1 independent director, and then you can have the 1 executive director also. Then you have the another committee that for
one is
company,
CSR, one is
CSR company there. Then also the stakeholders committee is also there, so that you take the grievances of this. So these committees put together, then definitely it comes to the board. But in majority of the places, people spend a lot of time with auditing. Then now you have different kinds of auditing. Auditing is not only financial auditing, efficiency auditing is also taking place in many of the companies, where that you see that your ratio, suppose EBITDA you want to calculate. So what is that you have spent on the raw material, and where you are faltering that your cost of production is coming to be the very high. So that auditing also takes place. Then you have forensic auditing. That is very, very, very essential part of that. At least, once in a way, I will not say that every quarter you should have, but once in a way, the forensic auditing also is very, very essential. So that guides you. Before you make a major mistake, it guides you from time. Because there are 2 kinds of it. One people, they do intentionally. Another is unintentional. Now, if you remember Satyam case. Satyam. Then what has happened there? Now, many of you know, so I need not explain to them what has happened. And thereafter, only we have started thinking the how to bring out the foolproof system is there. In this system now, we have changed a little bit. Of course, practically it may not all the times happen, but even you have right to, as an independent director, right to remove chairperson. If as an independent director, suppose I have 4 of the independent directors there, so they have to evaluate executive director as well as chairperson.
Very nice.
So if the 4 of them, they say the performance of this executive director is not good, then the question comes. So both the sides, but at the same time, the independent director performance is also evaluated, where the independent directors are there, other directors are there, chairman is there, only one person, particular independent director will miss from that board meeting where he is being evaluated. Then next time, the next will move out, then another will be evaluated. So this is responsibility from both the sides. So I definitely find this regulations, what has been brought, only thing is that when you are transiting from one place to other, some problems will be created, people will feel it. But in long run, I think it is going to give better checks and bits, and even the people will feel better. Just like GST has come. Earlier everybody wanted a GST. But when the system has come, of course, there could be some problem. Many people have started crying against GST, but not all, but it is there. So any system you are changing, that type of small problems will come, but that can be addressed too.
Change is uncomfortable, but ultimately change is for the good.
Change is must, either you like it or not, if you are not dynamic. See, that's why even I take the management classes, I ask the first question. Now, what do you understand by dynamics? Many times people, by ignorance, they will say that he is smart looking, if he is that, he is smart. No. Dynamic is the term from the physics. It means change with the acceleration. that is dynamic.
Dynamic.
It means a person or a company must have to be dynamic. It cannot be static.
Static.
If it suppose just now you asked me that do you think that all the directors should be IT professionals, and that's not professional, but he should have the knowledge to manage. So similarly, the company has to now, for example, you take this scenario of this COVID pandemic.
Pandemic.
If the companies were not having the system of electronic system, do you think that they could have survived? No. All because they had slowly come. And matter of fact, if you see that what you could not achieve in last 4 years as far as the electronic financing is concerned, that we have achieved in the just 6 months,
last
not
4
even 6.
months. Yeah, absolutely. It is just dynamically taken off. Yeah, I just wanted to go back a step regarding board evaluation. Board evaluation, committee evaluation, and with regard to listed companies, how they want women directors, SEBI wants that women directors representation should be there on listed companies. So your thoughts on both these aspects, board evaluation by the nomination remuneration committee, the performance, and women directors and their, induction on the board.
See, the first is the evaluation. Evaluation is every year that independent directors have to meet and evaluate the executive director as well as chairperson. And that we have developed the performer. Of course, based on that, what is the guideline have been given by the SEBI, based on that, satisfactory is satisfactory or not satisfactory is simple. So that is based on that, you have to submit. So that has become a formalities as long as the people are doing good. Otherwise, some places there could be problem. But as far as both the companies are there, the people are doing quite well, so there is no problem. Day and night they fit for the best of the company. Getting profit and loss, that depends on the various factors. But as far as their functioning is concerned, they are doing excellently well. As far as your nomination committee is concerned, the selections of the director is done by the nomination committee, the first stage, and then it is approved by the board. So now either they can pick up based on the performance of the particular person. If they know, even that is the way also they can bring in as the independent director, or they can take from the list available with the government, pick up, then they have to take their consent. If the particular person agrees, then they have to bring to the nomination committee. After getting there, so once they are giving to the nomination committee, then they can be appointed as the additional director to start with, and with the AGM, they can be regularized as a director, and they have to attend the first board meeting where they will be briefed about everything.
Right. Very well put. You've got a sound this thing on the compliance processes, Dr. Singh, I must say. Yeah, but with regard to any experiences which you have, and women directors particularly, what do you...
See, both my companies, I have seen the company secretaries are taking care of all the compliances, and they put forward that where they have not done or why they have delayed, that we question. But most of the job of the compliances, as per the regulations, and that, SEBI also sends some of the things from time and again. Now, for example, one compliance is there, what they say, the MD and chairperson should not be from the same promoter group. But all the times you cannot change it. So you have to see the particular, some exceptions you have to take. Some exceptions, and that provisions exist. Now, for example, AGM, you to have the fixed time. So if you have to postpone, you have to go again back to the SEBI, take the approval, and then when you have to. So these are that, and then you have the electronic voting. Similarly, the directors can continue for one more term or 75 years of age. That is the limit. But in case the company feels that the director is very, very essential, I want to continue beyond that also, then they can go for the voting of all there, and they can do it, but not in a regular way. They have to take the voting. If it is the voting, that particular director whom the company has projected, if he wins, then he continues. Otherwise, no. Because even in our case also, one of the director is there. He's very experienced person. He was in the SEBI before that, retired as a finance secretary, and then he was the SEBI chairperson, and he continues in this company. So he crossed 80. So as per the rule, you cannot. Then it was said that because the rule provides, you can go for the voting. and then it was circulated, voted, and he was voted because he's so experienced and so contributing to the company that best interest of the company, because nobody will stop you as long as it is clear that you want the person who is really competent enough, then there is no problem. But only when the competition is not there, that suppose you want to somebody that because he is good to you, you want to keep the people may object to that.
Okay.
May I just say something here, Bharati?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to compliment you for the precision with which you are laying down the guidelines of Boardroom. I mean, Bharati will agree with me.
Totally.
It feels like a masterclass to me because I'm a blank newcomer in the field of being an independent director. And you are going over it. I was so, and I am, by the way, in the field of education. I was director of an MBA college. And while you were talking about taking classes and all, I could visualize myself sitting in a class and attending a master class. It's been so beautiful the last 20-25
No, I take the lecture. My specific very good subject in the management is leadership.
Wow.
I talk on the leadership.
So nice, so nice.
So we will
I say
invite
the
you.
leader is not created. A leader is not born. He can be created.
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 Absolutely.
I have the trust on that leader can be created.
Wow.
And that I give.
Bharati, please continue.
Yeah, seriously. Dr. Singh, I just wanted to ask you some 3 to 5 points which you have, which you can give to Mentor My Board in ensuring that we are really helpful in mentoring and coaching directors. With regard to women directors also, any points which you have? Specifically, independent directors, women directors, how Mentor My Board can help? 3 to 5 points from your experience.
I can tell you this. First of that, many times people get worried with their success and failures. And you also in questionnaire, I saw that what is your opinion about success and failures? You are identified to do action. And result of the action, your action,
Correct.
result of the action, that is the success and failure will depend upon your way of action.
I see.
How do you act upon that your success will depend upon. For example, even if you go in the board, I have one project to go.
Right.
And then I simply say that this much money and so on. We do not know electricity coming, how much time it will take.
Right.
So if you have not managed your risk, it will take, so what I have done, next alternative I have kept. Even if you are moving somewhere, you always keep the alternative. So these things, if you are taking, then you are definitely to succeed.
Correct.
I say always, it is my saying, that nothing is impossible. If man wants to do it, nothing is impossible. You have to make efforts. Then people should be honest to themselves.
Correct.
Always you say you should be honest. I say honest to yourself.
Wow.
If you are first, you are honest to yourself,
Wonderful.
then definitely you will be honest to the system.
True.
Your mind, as long as your mind says that you are honest to yourself, then you will perform to the system.
System.
Then you should be committed with devotion. Anything you give, take. Any action you have to perform, you should perform with the devotion.
Devotion.
Then never bother for the results. As the Lord Krishna also said.
Yes.
You know, so I may not say. Lord Krishna also says that result of the action, you should not, your job is only to do the action.
Action.
You had also asked the question, how do you play the different roles? Yes. If I am sitting as a director, I may be different. If I am going in the company and meeting the people, I may be different.
Different.
So because my actions are different at different times. So to get the best of my action, I have to be different. So you also asked how you have to be as a at home. That I have to be different. If I have to be with my wife, I have to be different. With my children, I have to be different. With my friend, I have to be different. So this is nothing but is a form.
Memory. Terrific memory, Dr. Singh. Every word from the questionnaire, you're answering all the questions so beautifully even before I asked them.
No, I'm just saying. So form and functions changes.
Correct.
See, many times in my career, two things I have told to everybody. Man or woman never gets old. I do not know, you will believe it or not. And I say scientifically, they get old when their messenger RNA stops working.
Okay.
Messenger RNA, you must have heard about RNA and DNA in the system.
System.
Messenger RNA, which takes all your message and brings or anything, that is called messenger RNA.
Okay.
If it communicates to your whole body, that is called messenger RNA.
All right.
The day the messenger RNA is not working, that day you become old. Similarly, the people, they don't become retired. You say many times, you say he is retired. So I have retired, but I don't consider myself retired.
Retired. Correct.
I don't consider.
As long as we contribute, like you said, with full commitment and devotion. What would you say are the 3 tips for Mentor My Board, Dr. Singh? Sorry.
No, I'll just tell you what is there that 1 minute. I'll just this one has got battery loss. I'll get you 1 minute.
All right, not a problem. Dr. Swati, I was just saying, I think it's this thing. So I was saying also, you please ask on succession planning, because Dr. Singh has got so much of tremendous experience. So, and you are being a HR specialist, I think that you can ask. After he finishes answering on the tips to mentor my board on coaching and mentoring, then you can please ask.
Okay, I will just continue to tell you retirement. I asked the question. See, suppose from childhood, you go to younghood. Do you retire? No. From college, you go to service. Do you retire from college? No. Then when you go to particular service, then why do you say you retired?
Correct.
That is my question. No one can answer. So I say no one retires at any stage of time. He only changes his forms and function.
Right.
It means if you are in the school, you have different forms and function. If you are college, different forms and function. If you are serving at different position, you have different form. And when that particular you have left and you have come to this world, just like I am right now. So I have the different form and function. So no one retires. So life is like this, that you never become old and you never retire. Maybe that, somewhere I am doing this job, some people will take to Ramayana or some Mahabharata, they will do it. That also, of course, I do as a once in a way. But normally many people means retirement means Ramayana, Mahabharata, they will spend time. But I spend more time in technically, I still continue. I have so many.
You still have a lot to contribute.
No, I continue. I continue.
Correct.
I continue.
Correct. So I think
we are actually running a bit short of time. Having said that, sir, yes, 2 bits on succession planning of boardrooms, like Bharati mentioned. Being a HR professional throughout, your 2 bits would definitely add new elements to what we already know. How would you typically define that, sir?
I could not follow you.
So in the boardrooms, when we do succession planning, or when we bring in new people, or when we groom people after the mystery case, I think we have all been reading a lot. How would you say a smart succession planning in boardroom should kind of look like?
Very nice.
If you are grooming the person for the boardroom, first of all, let them have the complete knowledge of what is the current company law.
Correct.
So company laws, then you have to make them to understand what are their duties and what are their responsibilities, both.
Right.
Because now responsibility to any independent director is very, very high. Then you also groom them little bit in financing so that at least they can evaluate when the audit report come to them, they can evaluate. Otherwise, they will be just a blank. So that's some financing. The understanding has to be there. Just I told you, break even, that EBITDA, what is EBITDA, what is the standalone, because many people will be coming, you may not be understanding.
Correct.
Then what are the new rules and regulations resulting in GST regulations and so on and so on. So you have to, in the course curricula, if you are making from the training program, all these items in the briefs has to come to train your people for the boardroom. Boardroom could be both. He can be independent director. Maybe that if he is a small company, he himself is a director. He also requires all this knowledge as the independent director will require if he is representing any board. So if you do that, I think you will be more successful.
Wow.
Very nice. Thank you so
Very
much.
Humbled, sir. This was
Really.
a class to all of us.
Thank you.
I
Thank
do
you, madam. Thank you.
Dr.
All
Singh,
the
so kindly accepting to come here. And it has been a very enlivening and very enlightening session.
And a very energetic too. He
Okay.
has been standing for the last 1 hour. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you, thank
actually.
You, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
You
so
have
much.
said you're
I get
really very
motivated
energetic.
when
Thank
I'm
you.
standing. I get more motivation when I'm standing. That's why I prefer standing.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
all the
so
best.
much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Singh.
Thank you, sir.
It's
Thank
been
you.
our privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
Bye.
thank you so much.
Bye. Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.